All right, quick Monday update here. Many of you know, some don't. At the police board hearing today, when I walked in this morning, I was pretty sure what I was going to do. I wanted to at least give them the chance to prove me wrong. It didn't happen. That hearing went pretty much exactly like I anticipated it would go, and exactly like the mayor hinted it was going to go. Repeatedly, whether it was the hearing officer who sustained an objection or the counsel for the city who repeatedly cut in objecting to context of things I have said, why I said them, the experience behind them, and the thought process behind them, as if none of it mattered. It really doesn't to these people. They had two choices, and it was simple. They were either going to do the right thing or they were going to do as they were told. And it's clear that they chose the latter, and they were going to do as they were told and make sure that this happened and give the appearance of a fair hearing. Well, here we are. And the consideration wasn't that difficult to make. There was no way that the mayor could ever be allowed to utter the words that I was fired. The fact that this even got to this point is inexcusable, and I guess we'll see what the labor board says when they finally weigh in on them coming after a sitting union official, which has never been done before, and our contention that it shouldn't be allowed. They have a pretty chilling effect to the rest of the unions across this city, who finally have woken up and joined the fight when it came to the vaccine mandate. But if they had their way and this kangaroo court was willing and able to proceed, and they did end up firing me, it would only embolden this mayor even more and demoralize this membership. The decision was made to not allow that to happen because I didn't want the membership to be demoralized any more than they already are. The fight is not going anywhere. I am going to remain the president until this term is over. Now, I made it very clear. My intention is to run for mayor. It coincides with this office. That's a dynamic to yet be worked out. This was never about wanting to be the mayor of this city. But unfortunately, no one has publicly came out, stepped up, and said, I'm going to do it. That we can back at this point. We are at a precipice of a decision here as far as this city is concerned. It's a tipping point, and I just don't think we can wait any longer to push back and get this miserable mayor out of office as soon as humanly possible. We're almost beyond the point of recovery here now, but policy changes at the top can turn this around. I'm not sitting here telling anybody that I have all the answers, but I do know this. I might have a big mouth, but I don't have a big ego to the point where I don't know my limitations and my shortcomings. I know I can surround myself with the smartest people needed to give me educated information to make the best decisions for this city. So as that progresses, we'll see. This isn't a campaign speech. This is a simple update in the mindset of where I'm going forward here. I am going to continue to give 110% as long as I'm sitting in this chair to the members of the Chicago Police Department under our control. And the majority of them below the rank of lieutenant, or lieutenant and below. The rest of them, we will not have a shortage of lieutenants in 2023 if I was to become mayor. I can assure you of that. There are many exempt rank members who have showed their true colors in the last month, and not a single one of them has stood up and did the right thing and disobeyed, so to speak, a direct order from the higher-ups to do their own dirty work. But yet we courageously have dozens and dozens of officers willing to do exactly that every single day at headquarters, which is going on right now. I'll kind of keep everybody apprised, but tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., I intend on hitting the power button and submitting my immediate retirement, and be right back here at this desk doing the members' work.
You are welcome. That was Fraternal Order of Police President John Catanzara after crawling out of the sewer yesterday to announce that he's not going to give Mayor Lightfoot the opportunity to fire him, so he's quitting. Coward's going to quit. Very, very mayoral to quit and run and rally the troops around him. Heil, everyone. Okay, so I'm Jerry Vasilatos. I'm your host tonight for this Tuesday night edition of Chicago Corner. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're all safe out there. And I thank you all for joining us this evening. First thing I'm going to share in regards to this recent development, something that Jamal Green tweeted, which I loved. Let me pull it up here on my side. John Catanzara can't muster up 10,000 votes, but he has to run to find a job since he won't have a platform to use his big mouth. John, save us the favor and do a racist podcast and go away. You might be the only thing worse than Lori Lightfoot. Cheers to Jamal. Agreed. Let's get into it. We laugh at this clown because he is a clown, and he seems to think that he's like the boss of Chicago because he's the Fraternal Order of Police president. We do have a superintendent named Superintendent Brown, who is, I guess, leading the investigation into a lot of the questions surrounding Catanzara's leadership, misconduct. We've had criticisms of Superintendent Brown, but I do think that if we're going to jump into the sewer, Catanzara is the one that definitely needs the lights shed on him. Now, the scary thing about Catanzara is, as much as we joke about him here often, I looked at the YouTube page where he put up his original resignation announcement, and he's got a lot of supporters in Chicago. He's got a lot of people who want to see a fascist like him, a dangerous guy like him, calling the shots here. Is it possible that this guy could run and win? I'm not going to dismiss the possibility. We all laughed at Trump. And as much as we have problems with Mayor Lightfoot, this guy would be even more disastrous. So let me get into this article that came to us today from WTTW News by way of Matt Masterson. Police union boss John Catanzara officially resigns from CPD. John Catanzara, the first-term police union president who faced termination following his inflammatory social media posts, and we'll get into those in a moment because I pulled up his misconduct record, announced Tuesday morning that he's officially retired from the Chicago Police Department. A day after he announced his intention to leave the department, Catanzara, the first-term president of the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 7, posted a picture of his personal action request form on his Facebook page, which shows that he has indeed retired from CPD. In the comments section of that form, Catanzara wrote, "Finally, let's go Brandon," which is an insult used by conservatives directed at President Joe Biden. They're too cowardly to just say F Joe Biden, as if "let's go Brandon" is like some horrible, awful missive to launch. It's just so childish. I'm watching my language here tonight, too. Catanzara also faced possible termination during a 3-day hearing that began Monday before the Chicago Police Board. He was accused of violating nearly a dozen CPD rules stemming from his inflammatory social media activity and false police reports he filed against his superior and former superintendent, Eddie Johnson. But because he's no longer an officer, he's no longer subject to discipline from the Chicago Police Board. This is all strategy. This is all shenanigans so that he can just keep himself in a position where he can continue to be a boil on the ass of the city of Chicago and everybody who has to deal with this clown. Attorneys representing Police Superintendent David Brown, who brought the rules violations charges against Catanzara, moved Tuesday to withdraw those charges. Catanzara was not present during a brief status hearing, but his attorney, Tim Grace, confirmed that his client submitted his resignation papers to the CPD's Human Resources Department at 9 a.m. Tuesday morning. That PAR form was approved by Human Resources, Grace said. He added that Catanzara's resignation is effective immediately. Catanzara had been an officer with the CPD for nearly 27 years, though he had been stripped of his police powers since before his election as Fraternal Order of Police president in May of 2020. In a video message posted online Monday night, which we gleefully re-edited, Catanzara criticized both the hearing officer and the attorneys representing Superintendent Brown, saying the proceeding went pretty much exactly like I anticipated it to go. They had two choices, and it was simple. They were going to do the right thing, or they were going to do what they were told, he said, suggesting city officials worked to ensure he would be terminated, and it's clear they chose the latter. Catanzara called the hearing a kangaroo court. It's just hilarious. This guy who runs on law and order, follow the rules. They don't apply to him because he's the Fraternal Order of Police president, who can post this kind of shit on social media. As I showed some excerpts in his resignation video. This one, what the F? It's seriously time to kill these mother effers. Wayne State University officers shot. Well, we'll get into that in a second. I'll get into the social media problem with Catanzara in a moment. But let me finish the article. Despite his resignation from the CPD, he does plan to stay on as Fraternal Order of Police president for the remainder of his 3-year term. He's also announced plans to run for mayor in 2023. Did you like the little clown car clip that I found? I hope you did. James Lydon, who represented Brown during the hearing, said Catanzara willfully violated CPD rules with horribly disparaging, offensive, and obscene posts that were damaging to the department's image in the community. Yeah. During Monday's hearing, Catanzara did not deny making any of the social media posts or the criminal incident reports that led to the rules violations, but he wanted more latitude to explain his actions. He didn't disavow them. He wanted to explain them. He wanted everybody to accept that it was okay because he had his own reasons. He testified for more than 2 hours Monday before addressing the court at the end of the hearing to announce his retirement plans. Okay, as we saw. Let's go to this a-hole's social media posts. So this comes to us from, so you just so you understand, we're not just slamming him because he's a cop. He's a bad cop. There are good cops and there are bad cops, and Catanzara is like bottom of the barrel bad. This comes to us from the Chicago Justice Project. This is a compilation of Catanzara's 23 years of misconduct complaints and social media controversies. I'm just going to scratch the surface because if I read this whole article, we wouldn't have room to do the rest of the show with our other stories. So let's go to the social media complaints that were at the heart of some of this misconduct. The social media history of Catanzara. Catanzara is potentially facing termination for a series of inflammatory posts on social media dating back to 2016. Now, this reflects this man's attitude in leadership, rallying members of the Chicago Police Department. Do we want somebody like this who clearly draws this thin blue line between the police and us? There is a line between the police and us. That's apparently not a line to cross. There's no reaching across so that police can work with citizens and citizens can work with police. It doesn't seem that there's any efforts to bring police and the citizens and the neighborhoods and the public together, because the police are to be listened to and obeyed, no matter what. These are some of his social media posts that really showcase why this guy is completely unfit as a police officer and unfit to lead the Fraternal Order of Police. These social media posts show a pattern of disrespect of authority despite Catanzara's role as an authority figure in the Fraternal Order of Police. As an officer, Catanzara wants residents of Chicago to obey the laws and rules when he and other officers are the ones in charge of enforcing them. Fascism. However, he repeatedly breaks the rules of the department, especially when he disagrees with other officers. It's important to note that this is an incomplete record of Catanzara's posts. Many of these screenshots were collected as the posts were originally made and have since been altered, deleted, or shielded from public view. Let's get into some of those. I'm going to read because, it might be hard for some of you to read the details on the screen here. January 15th, 2008 through March 15th of 2013, the superintendent of police recommended firing Catanzara over making a false report, failing to follow medical role procedures, disobedience of orders, and other violations of rules of conduct. Although the police board found Catanzara guilty of all charges, he received a 20-day suspension instead of termination. The two members who voted for his termination write in their dissent, "We find the respondent guilty of all charges, and based on the seriousness and intentional nature of the respondent's misconduct, his self-serving false statements and testimony under oath, we vote to order that he be discharged from his position as a police officer." I don't know why that didn't happen. Perhaps the union is what protected him. June 14th, 2008 to May 8th of 2014, the superintendent of police recommended firing Catanzara over his disobedience of orders and actions which impede the CPD's efforts to achieve their policy goals. With a slim majority, 5 of 9 members of the police board voted to allow Catanzara to receive a 20-day suspension instead of termination. Now, here come the social media postings. November 22nd, 2016, 3 violations. On Facebook, Catanzara posted a link to an article reporting the shooting of an officer and advocated that those responsible ought to be killed. He used offensive language, writing, "What the F? It is seriously time to kill these mother effers." This post may be considered in violation of Rules 2, 3, and 6 of the Police Department's Rules of Conduct in the ongoing investigation. November 25th, 2016. And this guy just doesn't stop. He just doesn't stop. They slap him on the wrist, and he just continues going. Catanzara made a statement on Facebook that encouraged other department members to stop chasing offenders. This post may be considered a violation of Rules 2, 3, 6, and 53 in the ongoing investigation. December 1st, 2016, 3 violations. Officer Catanzara shared a picture on Facebook that was disrespectful to public benefit recipients. The post may be considered in violations of Rules 2, 3, and 6 in the ongoing investigation. January 22nd, 2017, 4 violations. Catanzara made an obscene statement on Facebook directed to a member of the public by stating, "Is it too late to abort the claw," spelling incorrect, "the stupidity of some humans like her only proved the saying, the best part dripping down her mom's leg." This post may be considered in violations of Rules 2, 3, 6, and 8 in the ongoing investigation. January 30th, 2017, Catanzara made a post to Facebook which read, "Savages, they all deserve a bullet," in reference to a video of a woman being stoned to death. The post further stated, "This is the reason many Americans are leery of a large segment of Muslims, especially those who support Sharia law. This is the life many want to bring to this country. This biased statement against Muslims is being considered for violations of 2, 3, and 6 in the ongoing investigation." Look, I could go on and on and on. The link to the Chicago Justice Project is down there in the show notes, and you can see for yourself why this guy should be run out of town on a rail and prevented at all costs from running for mayor or exposed for the piece of shit that he really is. Do any of you want a guy like this, racist, bigoted, prejudiced, no regard for civil rights, fascist authoritarian running our city? I don't. But that is the state of politics today. And the scene here in our city when we've got a lame duck mayor in Lightfoot, who we're going to get to her later. Another story broke today that is not in our show title, but we're going to get to regarding something that happened today with her appointment of a new police oversight boss. But before we go on to our ongoing story, I want to go to the live chat and see some people's comments, because I thank you all for joining me tonight. Let's see here. Arturo Medina. Catanzara is a dangerous man, and this is really his rallying call to make things worse. That's exactly what it is. This was his proclamation of war. And he's insulated himself by resigning so he can't be fired, so he can still be the president of the Fraternal Order of Police. Ed Heller, this guy sure is a windbag. Yep, he certainly is. Yeah, it will be fun covering the mayoral race. I don't think, as much as we want to cover the candidates for the mayoral race this next cycle, I don't think we're going to, I doubt we're going to get Catanzara on the show after our coverage tonight, but I don't care. He's not the kind of guy I want to have on, because he's already spoken for himself. We know what he's all about. Some of the other comments here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Ward Your Entertainment, All for Nothing 388, Gamer for Life. Arturo Medina, as always. He did what I would have done, which is quit before being fired. I at least understand what he did. Yeah, and the strategy he's using, Art, to rally his strength and power to continue terrorizing the city on behalf of how he thinks that people should be led, or how the law should be enforced. He's not a cop anymore, but he's going to act like a cop all the time. Yeah. Well, he already acts like he's mayor of the city, and he acts like he's the president. He's the superintendent of police. Turkey Day. Didn't laugh at Trump. Whether he's absurd or not is a different issue than laughing at the prospect of someone that sophisticated at media who is a WDC outsider having prospects of winning. Catanzara is the type of man who will command someone to drag someone out of a house and shoot them in the street, and there are plenty who want to follow his orders. Yeah, that's what I fear too. Hey, Love Tagore's here. Gamer for life. JR. Is the symbol behind him a star or a pentagram? Good question. Maybe yes is the answer. Excuse me. And finally, rounding out our comments here. Yeah, but he quit, so now he can't get unemployment. Yeah. But there might be some safeguards there. I don't know if he's accumulated a pension as a police officer that he might have some rights to. Not sure how that works. Arturo Medina, I'm certain that at some point Catanzara had wanted to help cops, but he must have just turned to the dark side, and now there's no going back. He's Darth Vader waiting to be the Emperor. I would respectfully disagree with you, Art. I think this guy was a piece of shit before he went to help cops. I think he's kind of a self-aggrandizing jagoff who just wants to consolidate his own power and spread his own ideals, and it's very, very dangerous for someone like that when they've got an instrument like the police department or the Fraternal Order of Police to do so. But I take your point. So how did you feel about our old buddy John Catanzara that I opened the show with?
Yeah, pretty. I'm not at all surprised.
Yeah.
By him. It's super cowardly.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't. He says he wants to run for mayor. And if he
doesn't want to do it, but it has to be done. He's the martyr here.
Yeah,
he's going to save us.
Whatever his rhetoric is, the point being that if he can't even stand up for accountability for himself, what's that going to say about him as a candidate? And he's going to get destroyed in the debates for the clown car that's inevitable for the next mayoral race. And I actually looking forward to seeing him get destroyed in the debates.
Well,
it's going to be entertaining.
I was looking forward to see Trump get destroyed in debates, and when I see the following that this clown has on social media, Ed, I don't want to be too. I don't want to laugh too much because we all saw what happened with Trump, and there's enough dismay right now in this town, and there's a lot of people that have the same worldview as Catanzara. That's why he's as popular as he is. And what's really alarming is how many rank and file police officers keep voting this guy in. That reflects a mindset that's very troubling to me about our law enforcement community as well. As much as we want to have respect for them, and we say this all the time, I don't want to disrespect or not trust cops. But how can you not when you see all this shit happen? You've got an asshole like that who constantly, harps on the fact the city doesn't have their back. What does that mean? He wants the city to continue to allow them to not have any accountability and to terrorize people without any kind of oversight. Because, we're paying millions in all the lawsuits. That's not coming out of police pensions. It's not coming out of any kind of insurance that police should carry for misconduct, the way that doctors carry malpractice insurance or other professionals. We're constantly throwing more money into their budget. We don't have their backs. What the fuck's he talking about? It's ridiculous. We know what he's talking about. He just doesn't want
back and forth between two different power structures, pretty much. The mayor's got her issues and he's got his issues, and they're it's just a slap fight basically in public between the two different power structures, and now we're looking at the the continuing saga of this. I don't know. It's not. I wouldn't call it kayfabe. It's not really wrestling, but there's definitely a lot of posturing and theater going on.
Yeah. Oh, and he's completely feeding into it. So yeah, I'm not gonna dismiss him as much as I like to mock him, because I don't like him, because he's like Trump. He's like a horrible representation of. He's not a leader. He's just, his ethics, his morality are repugnant. The way that he posts that stuff on social media, disparage. It's like watching his social media is like watching like a white power social media feed, because it's all about hating on immigrants. It's all about hating on anybody that questions police authority. And every time I see him in his office with that thin blue line flag behind him, it's like, that's defacing the American flag, dude. You're a patriot and you've got that flag that's blue and white with that line that doesn't really represent what America's about. So, but what do I know?